What if wealth was never about luck, chance, or hard work, but about alignment? What if abundance was never something to chase, but something that's programmed into the fabric of the universe itself, waiting for you to unlock it? For thousands of years, the sages, initiates, and temple builders of the ancient world whispered of a hidden force, a divine abundance code, a spiritual algorithm woven into the structure of reality. They believed that prosperity was not a reward for effort, but a response to frequency. And those who learned to tune their inner vibration to this sacred frequency could magnetize wealth, opportunity, and expansion with the same natural ease that a star attracts planets into its orbit. The Egyptians called it Heka, the creative power that shapes destiny. The Vedic rishis spoke of Lakshmi Tattva, the principle of boundless flourishing. Hermetic masters described it as the law of correspondence, where inner resonance dictates outer reflection. All were speaking about the same forgotten truth. Abundance is not created, it is activated. It is not summoned from the outside. It emerges from within, the moment your soul remembers its original programming. Modern science, though it speaks a different language, now echoes what the ancients knew. At the quantum level, reality is a responsive field, an ocean of potential that arranges itself according to the vibrational information it receives. Your thoughts are not just mental noise. Your beliefs are not just psychology. They are code, packets of energetic data that instruct the field on what to deliver. And when those instructions match the frequency of abundance, prosperity is no longer a pursuit. It becomes inevitable. This video is not about positive thinking. It is not about visualizing a bigger bank account. It is about learning the mechanics of energetic wealth, the precise vibrational structure that rewrites scarcity, dissolves resistance, and turns your entire being into a living magnet for abundance. This is not theory. This is the architecture of reality. And once you understand it, you will never look at wealth the same way again. Activation. Comment, I am the frequency of abundance. To anchor this new identity into your subconscious and prepare to awaken the divine abundance code. Chapter 1. The Sacred Blueprint. How the universe stores the code of abundance. Before abundance can flow into your life, you must understand one fundamental truth. Prosperity is not random. It is patterned. Every experience, every opportunity, every flow of wealth you encounter is not a stroke of luck, but the expression of a blueprint, an invisible architecture woven into the structure of reality itself. This sacred blueprint is the original code the universe uses to organize energy into form. It is not stored in books or temples. It is encoded into the very geometry of existence. From the spirals of galaxies to the unfolding of a seed, the cosmos reveals a language: order, balance, harmony, expansion. And wealth, in its truest, most divine form, is nothing more than the energetic manifestation of this universal pattern. The ancient initiates knew this. In the mystery schools of Egypt, the priest-scientists taught that the same blueprint that builds stars also builds empires. They believed that wealth was not a human invention, but a natural consequence of alignment with cosmic order. They inscribed this truth into temples, encoded it in sacred geometry, and expressed it through symbols like the Ankh, the key of life, representing the eternal circulation of energy and resources. Modern science now confirms what these adepts understood intuitively. At the quantum level, energy does not move chaotically. It arranges itself into coherent fields guided by frequency. Just as resonance can organize sound into visible patterns on a vibrating plate, consciousness, when tuned to the frequency of abundance, organizes reality into patterns of prosperity. This is not mysticism. It is the physics of creation. This means that scarcity is not a punishment. It is simply a misalignment. If the frequency you emit is dissonant with the universal pattern of flow, wealth cannot resonate with you. It will pass by, seeking coherence elsewhere. But when you tune your inner state, your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, to the blueprint itself, you become a node in the cosmic network of expansion. And abundance, like a river seeking the sea, will find its way to you. Here lies the first great shift in perspective. Wealth is not something to pursue. It is something to tune into. It is not something external you must attract. It is an ever-present field you must match. And once you do, the flow becomes inevitable, unstoppable, and self-perpetuating. Activation. Comment. I align with the sacred blueprint to begin resonating with the universal architecture of abundance. Chapter 2. The frequency of receiving. The forgotten law that opens the flow. If the sacred blueprint is the architecture of abundance, then receiving is the doorway through which it enters your life. Yet, this is where most seekers unknowingly block the flow. They visualize, affirm, and manifest, yet deep within, their frequency is not one of receiving, but of yearning. And yearning does not attract abundance. It repels it. Here is the cosmic paradox. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are ready to receive. Readiness is not mental. It is vibrational. It is the energetic posture of openness, trust, and expectation. When your field radiates, "I already carry the signature of abundance," the quantum matrix recognizes that signature and begins rearranging itself to match it. The ancient priest initiates of Egypt taught this principle as a sacred law. They called it the law of allowance, the understanding that abundance cannot be grasped or forced. It must be allowed. In temple rituals, initiates practiced Shen, a state of total receptivity, standing beneath cosmic alignments and breathing as if the riches of the universe were already theirs. They understood that the act of receiving was itself a sacred practice, a magnetic state that invites wealth into form. Modern neuroscience now echoes this ancient wisdom. The subconscious mind, which governs over 90% of your vibrational output, cannot distinguish between future and present. It responds only to the felt reality you embody now. If you continuously project lack, "I need," "I hope," "I wish," the subconscious encodes that state as truth, and the field mirrors it back. But if you embody having, through gratitude, certainty, and expansion, the subconscious emits the frequency of fulfillment, and the universe responds in kind. This is the deeper secret behind "ask and you shall receive." Asking without receiving is incomplete. To truly receive is to become the vessel, to create space internally and externally for abundance to arrive. Space in your schedule, space in your energy, space in your beliefs, space in your identity. The vessel must exist before the flow can fill it. And once the vessel is formed, once you stop chasing and start allowing, the field begins to conspire. Opportunities appear, resources align, support arrives. What once seemed impossible now flows naturally, because your vibration is no longer one of resistance. It is one of readiness. Activation. Comment. I am ready to receive. To anchor this frequency into your field and open the gates of divine abundance. Chapter 3. The prosperity field. How energy organizes around your identity. There is a deeper truth about abundance that almost no one speaks of, because it is too simple, too obvious, and too powerful. Energy does not organize itself around what you want. It organizes itself around what you are. The universe is not responding to your desires. It is responding to your identity, your self-concept, your inner story. Your deepest assumptions about who you are and what you deserve form a vibrational signature, a unique frequency that broadcasts into the quantum field. And the field, in perfect neutrality, reflects that signal back to you through people, opportunities, challenges, and wealth. This is why two people can perform the same actions, read the same books, even repeat the same affirmations. Yet one experiences effortless prosperity while the other struggles endlessly. The difference is not in action. The difference is in identity. One is abundance. The other is lack. The ancient Egyptians encoded this principle into their teachings on the Ren, the sacred name. They believed that one's true name was more than a word. It was a vibrational imprint of the soul's essence. When a person spoke and lived from their Ren, they aligned with their highest destiny. When they forgot it, their reality fragmented into scarcity and confusion. The lesson: reality does not mirror intention, it mirrors essence. Modern science now observes a similar phenomenon. Neuroscience shows that identity is the most powerful organizing force in human behavior. It shapes decision-making, perception, and emotional patterns. Quantum theory suggests that systems resonate with matching frequencies, and your identity is the frequency your field is constantly tuning to. The stronger and more coherent that identity, the more powerfully the universe organizes around it. This is why embodying abundance is infinitely more powerful than seeking it. When you think, "I want wealth," the field hears, "I do not have." But when your being radiates, "I am wealth," the field reorganizes itself to validate that statement. The outer world simply reflects the vibrational reality you consistently embody. So ask yourself, what identity are you broadcasting? Scarcity or sufficiency? Waiting or receiving? Chasing or attracting? Until your identity changes, your reality cannot. But the moment it does, the moment abundance becomes who you are, everything around you will begin to rearrange to support that truth. Activation. Comment, "I am wealth embodied," to anchor this frequency into your identity and allow the field to reorganize around your essence. Chapter 4. The Subconscious Architecture. Rewriting the hidden beliefs that block abundance. If reality is shaped by your identity, then your identity is built on a deeper foundation, one most people never see. Hidden beneath your conscious awareness lies the subconscious architecture, a vast network of beliefs, memories, and emotional imprints silently scripting your relationship with wealth. It is here, not in your thoughts, not in your intentions, that the true battle for abundance is won or lost. Over 90% of your vibrational output originates not from conscious choice, but from this invisible matrix. It is the sum of every belief you absorbed as a child. Money is hard. I don't deserve abundance. Wealth corrupts. Every ancestral imprint encoded in your DNA. Every emotional scar you never fully processed. These programs form an energetic operating system that continuously broadcasts a signal into the field, often in direct contradiction to what you consciously desire. This is why you can say, "I want abundance," and still sabotage opportunities. Why you can visualize wealth and still feel guilty receiving it. Why you can work hard and yet remain stuck. The problem isn't that the universe isn't responding. It's that your subconscious is transmitting a different command than your conscious mind. The priest-scientists of ancient Egypt understood this with profound clarity. They taught that before one could speak the language of creation, one had to undergo Heka Netcher, the purification of the inner temple. This was not ritual for its own sake. It was psychological surgery. By confronting and dissolving limiting beliefs, initiates restructured the energetic architecture of their being, ensuring that their inner signal matched the frequency of abundance. Modern neuroscience mirrors this ancient wisdom. Beliefs are not abstract. They are physical pathways wired into your brain. And just as they were created through repetition and emotion, they can be rewired the same way. Through deep inner work, shadow integration, somatic release, hypnosis, affirmations charged with genuine emotion, the subconscious can be reprogrammed to broadcast a new signal, one of worthiness, expansion, and limitless possibility. When that happens, the universe has no choice but to respond differently. Opportunities that once passed you by begin to magnetize. Resources flow without struggle. Relationships that elevate you appear at precisely the right moment. You stop chasing wealth, and wealth begins chasing you. Activation. Comment, I rewrite the beliefs that block my abundance. To anchor this intention deep into your subconscious field. Chapter 5. The Flow Principle. How to enter the stream where wealth naturally finds you. There is a law older than temples, older than civilizations, older than time itself. The law of flow. Every river, every galaxy, every breath of the cosmos moves according to this rhythm. It is the principle that transforms chaos into order, resistance into momentum, effort into ease. And until you align with this principle, abundance will remain something you must chase. But the moment you do, wealth begins to chase you. The truth is simple. Prosperity is not a destination. It is a current. It is a living stream of energy flowing endlessly through the universe. When you resist it, through fear, doubt, guilt, control, you step out of the current and watch wealth rush past you. But when you surrender to it, through trust, alignment, generosity, and openness, you become part of the current itself. And in that state, you no longer pursue abundance. You are carried by it. The priest-scientists of Egypt expressed this principle through the symbol of the Nile, a sacred metaphor for life's flow. They understood that wealth was like water, impossible to grasp, impossible to hold, but abundant to those who learn to move with it. Their rituals were not about forcing outcomes, but about synchronizing with the natural rhythms of the cosmos. The same rhythms that bring rain to the earth and tides to the shore. Modern physics now echoes this truth. In dynamic systems, flow states are the most efficient pathways for energy transfer. Resistance creates friction, but alignment multiplies velocity. Likewise, when your internal state stops fighting reality and begins cooperating with it, opportunities multiply, synchronicities accelerate, and prosperity arrives with minimal effort. This is not laziness. It is intelligent surrender, the art of moving with the current instead of against it. To enter this state, you must release control, not by giving up, but by trusting the intelligence of the field. Let go of the need to know how abundance will arrive. Detach from rigid timelines and limited outcomes. Instead, become deeply present, responsive, and attuned to the opportunities already flowing toward you. Give freely. Circulate what you have. Be generous without fear. Because the more you embody the flow includes you. This is the paradox of the flow principle. Abundance flows most powerfully to those who no longer chase it. The universe cannot pour into a clenched fist, but it overflows into open hands. And when you become a vessel for that flow, when wealth moves through you, not just to you, you enter a state where prosperity becomes inevitable. Activation. Comment. I flow with the current of abundance. To anchor this state into your field and allow wealth to find you effortlessly. Chapter 6. The Law of Expansion. Multiplying what the universe gives you. The universe does not reward stagnation, it rewards expansion. Everything in existence, from galaxies to consciousness, is designed to grow, evolve, and unfold into greater expressions of itself. And abundance follows the same law. Prosperity is not meant to arrive and stop. It is meant to multiply. And if you understand how to align with this universal principle, wealth stops being something you receive and becomes something that grows through you. This is the essence of the law of expansion. What you circulate multiplies. What you hoard contracts. Energy is designed to flow outward, to extend itself beyond its original form. When you align your vibration with that expansion, when you use what the universe gives you to create more value, more service, more beauty, more impact, the field responds by increasing the flow. This is not spiritual poetry. It is the mathematics of abundance. The ancient Egyptians symbolized this principle with the scarab beetle, a sacred emblem of transformation, growth, and eternal becoming. They believed that wealth was not a static possession, but a living current, and that the soul's purpose was to amplify the divine gifts it received. The more the initiate created from abundance, building temples, educating the next generation, nourishing the community, the more abundance returned, often in ways far beyond what was expected. Modern science expresses the same truth in a different language. In quantum systems, energy expands exponentially when circulated through open pathways. In economics, value compounds when reinvested. In psychology, gratitude amplifies when expressed. The field always responds to expansion with more expansion. But fear often interrupts this cycle. Scarcity consciousness whispers, "Hold on to what you have." Yet the moment you cling, the flow contracts. Hoarded energy becomes stagnant. Money buried stops multiplying. Opportunities withheld stop returning. But when you trust the current, when you give, reinvest, share, teach, and build, you become a multiplier of the field itself. And the universe, seeing a vessel through which it can express more of itself, pours more into you. Expansion is not about greed. It's about growth as a natural law. It's about understanding that wealth is meant to move, evolve, and transform. You are not here to merely accumulate abundance. You are here to amplify it. Activation. Comment. I multiply what I receive. To anchor the law of expansion into your field and become a vessel through which infinite prosperity flows. Chapter 7. Becoming the code, the state where abundance becomes effortless. There is a point on this path where seeking ends, where chasing, scripting, and even manifesting become obsolete. It is the point where the distinction between you and abundance dissolves, and you realize they were never separate. This is the final revelation of the divine abundance code. You do not attract wealth, you become it. At this level, abundance is no longer an event. It is a state of being. It is no longer something you receive. It is something you express. You stop commanding the field and begin embodying it. You stop sending instructions and start living as the frequency itself. And once you become the frequency, resistance vanishes. Scarcity cannot exist in your reality because it has nowhere to anchor. Prosperity does not arrive. It unfolds around you as naturally as breath. The initiates of the ancient temples described this state as sa sekum sahu, power in the flow of the divine soul. It was the highest stage of wealth consciousness, when the humans stopped petitioning the gods and remembered they were the creative intelligence that spoke worlds into being. This was the deepest mystery, the understanding that abundance is not external currency, but internal current. Modern science, too, points toward this truth. When identity, emotion, belief, and action operate as a single coherent field, the quantum system recognizes no separation between observer and observed. In that coherence, manifestation becomes automatic. Reality is not attracted, it is generated. This is where wealth becomes effortless, not because the universe is suddenly generous, but because you finally stopped contradicting it. You no longer emit scarcity while asking for prosperity. You no longer vibrate separation while seeking unity. You have become the living algorithm, the embodiment of the abundance field itself. And when that happens, life reorganizes itself around your essence. Opportunities align without struggle. Resources appear without demand. Synchronicities multiply without effort. You stop trying to make things happen because you understand you are the thing that happens. Activation. Comment, I am abundance itself, to anchor this ultimate state of embodiment into your field and become the source through which prosperity flows. Final chapter. The return to infinite source. There comes a moment, a sacred turning point, when you stop searching for abundance out there. You stop trying to attract, summon, or manifest it, because in the stillness of awareness, you remember, you were never separate from it. The river was never outside you. The frequency was never beyond you. The code was never hidden from you. You were the field all along, dreaming yourself as a seeker, forgetting your nature as the source. Every step of this journey, the blueprint, the frequency, the identity, the subconscious, the flow, the expansion, was never about learning something new. It was about remembering what was always written into your soul, that you are a living fractal of divine intelligence, a vessel through which the universe expresses itself as abundance. The priests of old called this state Zep Tepi, the first time, the origin point where spirit and matter are one. The mystics called it the kingdom within. Science calls it the unified field. All are names for the same truth. The infinite source of prosperity has never been elsewhere. It has always flowed from you, through your thoughts, your beliefs, your identity, your willingness to expand. And now, the question is no longer, how do I attract wealth? The question is, what will I create now that I know I am wealth? What will you build? What will you give? What beauty will you bring into the world now that the current flows through you without resistance? Final activation. Comment, I am the source of abundance. Not as a hope, not as a wish, but as a remembrance. Because from this moment on, abundance is no longer a goal. It is your nature. Subscribe and continue this journey of remembrance, where ancient wisdom, quantum science, and soul intelligence merge. Because this is only the beginning, and the universe is ready to show you how infinite you truly are.